What's going on, family? And welcome back to The Certified Man. I am honored to be a part of your day. My name is KD Bo.
And I am Derwin Davis.
That dude right there. And man, I really am excited about working with you and
Likewise.
having these weekly conversations. It's incredible. So, hey, let me tell you this now. Before we really get into this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this and share it with somebody that you know or you feel like would really benefit from this information. Man, I thought about today why this work means so much to me, bro.
Yeah.
I love seeing men show up in the best version of themselves.
Yes.
I like seeing men step out of the shadows of their home, of their life, business, etc., and take the narrative of their life by the reins.
Right.
Because a lot of times we wonder who's going to save us.
Right.
And that's a mindset.
Yes.
Who's going to save us? What we have learned is that the answer to that is
ourselves.
You're going to save
God, but ourselves.
Yeah, God through you.
Yes.
Nobody's coming.
Right. Nobody's coming.
Oh God. Can we stop there?
Man.
Nobody is coming.
No, nobody's coming. There's not a 911. There's not a fire truck. There's not an ambulance. One of the books that I've read this year, You Are the One That You've Been Looking For. Not only validate that message, but allows an individual
waiting for you. You're the one you've been waiting for.
You're the one you've been waiting for. Internal family systems really validates that you have to become your primary caretaker. And that's a hard pill to swallow because a lot of times we wish that certain people are there, whether it was parental, whether it was relational, whether it was organizational or communal. You're hoping that somebody is going to be there. And in truth, people can be there for you, but they're secondary, not primary. Yeah. You're in a very toxic and a very limited state to be in to expect someone else to be your primary. And to really acknowledge men, we hope that people will be there. There's a lot of expectations on us to show up, deliver.
Yeah.
You have so many people that can have their definition of what it means to be a man.
Yeah.
And especially in the African-American community, people can say this is what it is to be a good man. And some people have never had that man that they subscribe around. He's an AI character. In the chat GBT of their mind, they can say a good man is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but then, and you hear all of these things, and then men, we desire to be a good man, but have our own issues and have our own trepidations and have our own concerns. And so it's really into us taking ownership that, you know what, you have to be that one that's going to show up for you. And when you do that, others then can be secondary, but they don't feel that full weight.
Yeah. And, we're going to at some point have a conversation about the whole imago therapy, imago theory, that, the person that you are hoping is going to help you and help to heal you,
That's their weak area too.
Yeah, that's the weak area too.
Exactly.
Because you chose them for the purpose of them helping you heal, but they did the same thing.
Right.
And until y'all understand that, you are, what's the word? My tormentor.
Yeah. So in that internal family system, it's down there, man. And I'm literally working in this as we're talking. But your partner is your tormentor. Meaning they actually are a mirror that shows you your inefficiencies or your inadequacies.
Or to use the word accurately, or to use the word, your mentor.
Yeah, they mentor you.
They mentor you through tormenting you.
Right. They mentor you because they actually are giving you that CAT scan. They're giving you that MRI to show you that area is bothering you. That area is a problem to you. And while you're blaming them and saying it's their fault, that if they didn't do A, B, or C, D, E, F, G, you're actually having to come look at that. Hold on. It's not that they did A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Why am I feeling this kind of way about A, B, C, D, E, F, G? So therefore, let's stop blaming them for doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and let's do this internal work to say, why is this bothering me like this?
Yeah. We got a little bit to go today, but I'm going to drop this one that we talk about being triggered a lot. We do. And what we don't realize, Dr. Cola is the man. He gave us both this. So I'm just telling you.
He is the counselor rabbi, okay?
Yeah. He's the mental whisperer. There you go. All right, something. But we talk about being triggered a lot.
Yeah.
And when we say that, we put the onus most of the time on somebody else. If you hadn't done this, then I wouldn't have done that. You said that and it triggered me. But there are 3 parts to a weapon being discharged.
Right.
Okay? Because when you say triggering, that's what that,
It's triggered, right.
So 3 parts to it. 1, you got to have the bullet.
Right.
You got to have the firearm.
Right.
But you also got to have somebody that actually
pulls the trigger.
Right. What if you didn't have a bullet in the chamber walking around in the first place?
It wouldn't go off.
You couldn't be triggered. They could try to trigger you,
but it's the going off that's deadly. It's the going off that's dangerous. It's the going off that causes not only pain to everybody around. I had this statement, man, and that I realized that in seeing individuals that have done some things that are terrible, whenever a weapon is formed, many people think they're going to damage one person, not realizing it's so many other people that love that one person that you're literally affecting their mental as well.
Mm.
And
what do you mean by that?
Meaning, you got an issue with Bobby, but there's a mother that loves Bobby.
Oh.
There's a father that loves Bobby. There's a child that loves Bobby. There's a community that loves Bobby. And you're not just affecting Bobby, you're affecting everybody that loves Bobby.
And okay, boy.
Right.
The way you see Bobby is not the only perspective.
Yes.
See, when we talk about the truth a lot.
You see him as a villain, but someone else sees him as a hero.
Yes.
There are different perspectives.
So there are different perspectives. And one of the things of growing into maturity is understanding that your perspective
is not
especially in that space of being emotionally charged, is not the only perspective. And if you can open up your eyes or your heart to realize that there is another perspective that may be in your blind spot.
Right.
That's how you win and that's how you grow.
Man, Cola hit me so hard because we was talking about this conversation of triggers. He said, the trigger wouldn't matter if the weapon wasn't loaded.
So you know what I do every day now? After he told me that same word, because I guess we got the same situation, same sessions.
Yes.
He said, what I told him was, well, I need to make sure that every day I wake up, I'm unloading my weapon.
Yes.
Because you can inadvertently go off on some people.
Yes.
Because of some
hurts loaded.
That happened way back when.
Yes.
And what'll happen is you'll bleed on people who never cut you.
You'll bleed on people who never cut you. You will discharge on folks that was unintended to.
Yeah.
So, and you're giving them everything that you loaded. They pull that trigger once, but if they hold it and stay on it, you just unload your entire cartridge on them. And it's like, I did this. Why are you giving me all of this?
Yeah.
And so, man, live that, evaluating that. And I think this is why this is important in the certified community, because let's be clear, certified is not about being a perfect man.
Yes.
Certified is literally about being a man that's trusted.
So let's go back to that, because I think it's important that we keep reiterating what a certified man is. And it is a man who lives by these 5 core tenets that we believe in.
Yes.
The MANUP. It's the maturity, which means spiritually, physically, mentally, intellectually, emotionally mature. A lot of us stopped growing at the point that we were wounded.
Right.
And so many times maturity is you having the courage to kind of go back and deal with the wounds that stunted your growth so you can grow. That's maturity.
Yes.
A, which we're going to talk about today,
Right.
is accept responsibility.
Right.
Okay? It is not what happens to you.
Right.
It's how you respond to
Right.
what happens to you that makes all the difference in the world. We'll talk more about that today. The N is for never settle. It speaks to perseverance. If I'm supposed to know it, I'm not going to stop until I know it. If I'm supposed to become it, and it is in my reach or my purview to become it, then I don't stop until I become it. It is a no excuses, no explanations attitude towards life. If it's for me, it's not over until I win. Okay. The U is for unity. I am my brother's keeper.
Yes.
Okay. A lot of times we try to be lone rangers, but a lone ranger, no. Hey, even Lone Ranger had Tonto. Come on. All right.
Yes.
And then
Batman had Robin.
Okay. Well, that was a little racist about the Tonto, but whatever. You get what I'm saying. and then the P is produce. It's productivity. It's not what you say often. It's what you produce. And for us to be able to make an impact in this world, our production has to be different than what. Now, we produce. Let's be clear.
Yeah,
I'm not telling you that we don't produce.
You're always producing something.
You're always producing, but you have to be intentional
about
what you're producing. Oh, yes. I want to say that so long, but we're going to get to that one day. So that's what the Certified Man is. And we have a course that we do, probably going to be once a year, but we'll do it again. We don't know when, but we'll tell you when we do it. Today, man, I really want to talk about something that deals with accepting responsibility.
Yeah.
Accepting responsibility is accepting that you are always responsible.
Right. And always responsible is not talking about it's your fault.
Say it again.
Always responsible is not saying that it's your fault. It's not saying that you are the causer. Accepting responsibility is about learning how to respond and knowing that you own your response regardless of what is presented in front of you.
What's the difference between a response and a reaction?
A reaction, reactions deal with you act first, then you feel, and then you think. So reaction is you act before you got your mental space in it. You act before you felt, you thought. The reaction, it was so quick. So something happened to you and you immediately acted out, okay? Responding is you're thinking, then you're feeling, and then you're acting. And so that's a lot of cognitive awareness in this, but oftentimes when something is painful for us, our fight or flights is quick. Right now, if something came off in this building, if we heard something that was strange, we would first act.
Yes.
Okay? Then we will have, why are we feeling? Heart rates up, and then think about, well, what was that? So on and so forth. Is getting to a place that, we can be cognitive, put mental clarity on this by saying, what's my thought about this?
And even when it is a pure reaction, you can train your reactions to do right.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Like, if you're a cusser, in your mind, you train yourself.
Yeah.
That when you're around mama as a kid,
yes.
Oh, you didn't cuss around her.
You get your teeth rearranged.
There you go.
Yes.
you got a whole different reaction.
Flabbergasted.
Right. So, and I think that the more you train yourself and tell yourself what your boundaries are, then your reaction, because sometimes you don't have very much time to think, but you can train yourself to be in that space of, well, my reaction was one that was pure and it was in line with my core beliefs. Right. Like when I got into an accident, I saw the accident coming. I didn't cuss. I yelled, Jesus, in the name of Jesus. So that's what I have trained myself. That's what runs through my mind. Right. That when a tragedy is about to happen and I have no control.
Right.
The only one I'm preaching. Yeah. The only one that has control, that's who I'm leaning towards. Right. So you can train your reaction to be one that is more in line with what you would call a response.
Exactly. And also being aware of what reactions have historically been negative.
Yeah.
So therefore you work on disarming yourself to say, you know what? In the past, I have done this and I have reacted this way and it has led me ABC. I don't like the ABC. So I need to be cognizant about those different things so that when I do get in a moment and see things elevating or seeing things being ushered in that same manner that I reacted negatively, that I now have an opportunity to either disengage. If I know it's going to be a grease fire, I need to turn the stove on.
Ooh, that's good. That's good.
I see this conversation is getting a little heated.
Yeah.
I know I will react and knock the taste off of your mouth.
Put me in the room with certain people and clothes is off and I'm in that room with that person that I'm not married to. I know what my reaction is going to be. So guess what? I don't put myself in those
You got to
situations.
know way before. You know,
There you
got to
go.
know when yeah.
There you go.
And it's learning those things. It's certain way that there's certain parts of your body that responds a certain way that you know what I'm and working on reactions, knowing parts. I noticed that my heart starts twinging when it's something I don't like. So it literally is this spot right here, this spot right here, and it's like muscle and it's heart. And when that thing start going off, I start realize, oh, Derwin is about to go in.
Yeah.
So and you learn to start listening so that you can respond to yourself versus react.
Now that is something that we deal with. That is known as self-awareness.
Yes.
You know your body. I know.
I'm learning, and I admit, I'm learning my body.
Well, because you pay attention.
I'm learning to pay attention.
So when my dopamine levels spike, I know this is a thing. When my adrenaline levels spike, I know. When I get hot, when stuff starts slowing down, and you know stuff slow down, you preparing for battle. I know because I pay attention to my body. So then I say, you know what? Wait a minute. Let me pay attention to what's happening because something is off.
Yes,
something is off.
Yes.
So we know what self accepting responsibility is not.
Right.
Let's talk about what it is. Let's break down what responsibility is. It is
your ability to respond. And understanding it's ability. So accepting responsibility comes with saying, you know what, I need to learn how to respond better to this. And evaluating what is my ability right now to respond.
Yep.
Some people haven't even admitted that they don't even have the ability to respond.
Wow. Well, you always have the ability to respond. You don't always have the ability to respond well.
We're right. The ability to respond well. But going on that evaluative or self-inward look to say, you know what, I'm not responding on the ability level that I desire.
Yeah.
And my ability today is first grade. But I want my ability to be, at least middle school.
Yeah.
Or college. So then I now have to work on myself, have to work with others on increasing my capacity to respond, but knowing I have no control of what other people can do or say.
And that's the good part.
Yes.
That's the good part, because accepting responsibility is knowing that you are, listen to what I'm saying, always responsible. And so when we do the course, when we do the class, we always get pushback on this part, that you're always responsible. You are 100% responsible in any situation, in any case. But KD, what if you don't know what happened to me? Man, I was a kid and I was this and I was on my way to work and somebody was texting while they was driving and they hit my car. How am I responsible for that? When you break down what the word means, though, it means that you have the ability to choose your response. There are a plethora of responses, bro, that are in the toolbox of our souls and our bodies. You always and routinely choose one, whether you know it or not. You're always choosing one. You got the responsibility, like you said earlier, to slap the fire out of somebody, or you have the ability, rather, to be able to say, you know what, I'm gonna walk away from this, because that's the best choice. That's the best response. We are always responsible.
Man, if we look back over our lives, and realize some of the biggest mistakes that we've ever made, the biggest blow-ups, the things that have cost us the most, is because we were not responsive thinking.
Yeah.
And responsive acting.
We reacted.
We
did not respond.
We did not respond.
Yeah.
There's some situations right now.
Yeah.
There's some problems in families that are tough right now, that they don't know how they're going to make it, because people started what? Reacting versus what? Responding. And that's a growth moment.
Man, when I go and talk to the brothers incarcerated, to my brothers, shout out to y'all.
Yeah.
One of the things I asked them, I said, raise your hand, no judgment, that if you would have just counted to 10 before you did what you did that landed you in here, how many of you, by raising of your hands, wouldn't be here?
Yeah.
And every time, they always have everybody has their hands up.
Right.
So responding has to be, number one, the first thing that comes to our mind to know that we have been given the ability to respond.
Yes.
Nobody can take your response out of your hands. I don't care if they call you the B word to your face. The response is always mine.
Yes.
And if I think that somebody else has the power to make me do something, then I'm always living in a reactionary mode.
Now, here's another level on this. You often react on the level of your wounds.
Say more.
Whatever age of your pain and your trauma that is in that area, that the subject matter, you often react at that age.
Yeah.
So you can be a grown man, full of degrees, leading, highly respected. But if in that area, you're a wounded 5-year-old, you can react like that 5-year-old.
Ooh, bro. But you know one thing that is so good when I think about this is that accepting responsibility and self-awareness lets you know that that's a thing for me.
Yes.
And then being self-aware doesn't make it go away.
Yes.
But at least you know how to govern yourself accordingly, to not put yourself in circumstances or to have conversations that go past a certain level.
And do the work to get that 5-year-old healthy to grow, that you're no longer at that level. And that's where it's even so much for me. Because I can tell you, as doing this work, if diving in, is so many areas that were inefficient. Childhood, leading in this area, little boy in this one.
Yeah.
Growing in this area, old tiny toddler D over here.
Yeah.
And you're reacting, number one, because you still got the childhood stuff that has to be addressed.
Yeah.
And until you really dive into that, you're never going to really be able to respond, because you got to be able to nurture that, heal that, move from that, and get into a different area. And that's what's tough. And this is why the important areas like this, because it's I'm freer than now, but it's kind of hard to talk about that person versus reacting out of that person. And oftentimes we show up to protect that person who's been wounded before.
Yeah. The pain is recognizing that, well, not necessarily the pain, but it takes courage to recognize that this is a thing, number one. And number two, be willing to do the work.
Yes.
Because what happens is when we're wounded, we don't even like to visit that area, even if it's something that's going to make us better. We don't like to visit it because it hurts. You seen them people that prison strong. They big up top.
Yeah,
got them little baby legs. That's when you're working really strong on one part, but there's another part. So accepting responsibility is, I'm responsible for all of this.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, I'm responsible for all of this. I'm responsible for my mental.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we can move here with this is that instead of us accepting responsibility, what we many times do is that we blame.
Ooh.
Brene Brown said something. Let me say what she said. She said, blame is the discharging of discomfort and pain. That's what blame is. It's the reason why we blame. When we feel fear, worry, shame, being ashamed, embarrassed, the fastest way to feel a little bit better
is to blame.
Is to blame. In many cases, because blame has an inverse relationship with accountability.
Yeah.
Because accountability makes us feel vulnerable.
Right.
And nobody, many cases, the ones that blame want to be put in a place where they feel so uncomfortable as being vulnerable. Guess what? I don't know what you're going to do.
Right.
If I accept accountability for this.
Right.
Because in my mind, you might do what my people in my past have done. You might pounce on it.
Exactly.
You might take advantage of it. You might never let me live it down.
Exactly.
Hell, I'd do it to you if it was you.
Right.
So that's what we have to be really careful about, is that what areas of our lives are we blaming somebody else for? Is it what happened with mom and them, daddy and them? Is it what happened with the man, with the system, with the government? Yes. Is it because I don't have this, or is it because I don't have that? Who or what are you blaming that's stopping you from accepting for accepting responsibility and taking accountability?
Man, when I heard this statement this way, it started transforming my life. Blame has no redemptive value.
That's good, bro.
And shame
and blame,
has no transformative value.
Ooh.
Meaning, if you blame somebody, you can't redeem anything from it. You're not going to get anything out of it.
Yeah.
It's not, blame never pays off.
Yeah, bro.
It's a coupon that you can't even take to the cash register and get the discount on checkout.
Yeah.
It's expired and it never works.
Yeah.
So therefore, we lose that moment. And oftentimes we grow up and make ourselves self-soothe, okay, in a toxic matter, saying it's because of what they did, because of what this happened. And that's true. However, not to be preachy, but God says all things work together. So therefore, if I look at that lens and put blame on it and say that I'm this way because this person did this, I actually disactivate that scripture. Because, watch this, if all things work together, God can allow, not cause, but allow things to show up. And if we respond, that can be an opportunity versus opposition.
Opportunity for growth.
It's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Curiosity. What could come out of this?
Yeah.
But when we blame, we make it opposition and no longer get the redemption from it.
And we become the victim of our story.
Very much, and we become stuck there.
Wow.
And just now, another cycle to get again because we're stuck there because we made it about everybody else.
And if you hold a person at the point of the wounding, you got to stay there too.
Yes.
You can't grow.
Yes.
They can't grow. The whole situation is crazy.
Because you stand there.
So accepting responsibility is one of the biggest steps that you can have to grow. Because however you tell yourself, our beliefs hold such power.
Very much so.
Because many of the ways that we move, the stories that we tell are through the lens of what we believe.
Yes.
Through the filter. You can see a filter where somebody got the Hulk or a goat or a monkey, but it's a filter.
Yeah.
When the real story is something else. Again, we talked about perspectives, but when you believe something, I'm not good enough.
Yep.
When you believe that I'm not worthy enough, you believe I can't do it.
Yeah.
That begins to stack.
Yes.
Because now when you see something else that makes you wonder, or when somebody does something that has nothing to do with what you got going on in your head, you make it fit.
Right.
Oh, they said that to me because I was so-and-so.
Right.
When that initial wound hit,
right,
that's the seed that was planted.
Right.
And whenever other stuff happens, your belief is the filter that you see it. And that's where you start fitting everything in and it starts watering it.
Right.
Yeah, you know what, man? That's the reason why I didn't get that job.
Right.
Because they don't think I'm good enough.
Right.
She didn't talk to me because, I'm not good enough.
Right.
Or I didn't get an opportunity to be in that club or be around them, or they didn't do it. All of these stories that we create come through the lens of our beliefs. So what I'm saying today is for us to do is to grab that whole accepting responsibility for your life. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Until you take 100% responsibility for your life, the success that you're looking for is gonna always evade you.
Very much so.
It's gonna always evade you.
Very much so.
So you gotta accept it. Hey, this is me. This is me. I got it.
Right.
And what I've learned is that I may not be able, and we talked about this last podcast, I may not be able to go and dump all of that on my woman. You feel me? And I saw your little nasty comments in there, but I may not be able to dump all of that on my woman, but that's the power of community.
Man, I used to think, I want to be able to go tell my woman everything. She's my woman. Let me talk to you. If I can't talk, Jody said, come and talk to me.
Yeah.
But however,
yeah.
It wasn't until I was at my sister's house, we had an event, and I got out of the car, and my sister lives in the side of town that the landfill is less than a mile away. And son said, "That's a mountain right there." And I said, "No, that's a landfill."
Oh.
And the landfill started talking because everybody at their house got a place that their trash goes. And you got to learn how, watch this, to process your stuff. Because all trash ain't trash. Some is recyclable.
But it depends on where you take it.
It depends on where you take it. And that's the power of Man Up Community. Because this is the place that we as men can go to process our stuff, to sort out, this is trash.
And this is
this is recyclable. Ooh. You know what? This is reusable.
Oh.
And then we get to bring that home repurposed.
There you go. And what some of the people in the comments were saying, you don't know how strong, she is. And that's true. That's true. It is true. Because, you could have somebody who really has the grace to be able to kind of help you through some stuff. But by and large, if you come to a relationship to heal,
right?
She came to the relationship to heal. Somebody at some point, I don't even know if I want to go here. Lord Jesus, I might just take all this part out.
Man,
I just might take this part out.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
The brothers that we've been working together over the last year, how many times have we heard an improvement from our spouse or significant other that happened because we had the conversation in a safe place that we know if we would have had with them, World War III would have been in place. It would have been a lot of shame and blame. As a matter of fact, what often happened, something happened over there. We were feeling some kind of way, and we brought it back and started looking at it and challenged, hey, bro, well, no, that was a little rough.
You need to talk.
You need to.
But you can't say it like that.
Yeah, you can't say it like that. Or, no, are you seeing yourself in that? Hold on, man. You seeing this, but that little boy is showing out right now.
Yeah.
That's a total different conversation. Or, watch this.
It's good.
You know what? I see everything you're saying. I see everything you see, and you're valid in your point. However, if you show up that way when you're right, you still gonna be wrong.
She can't hear you like that. She can't hear.
That's a whole different conversation.
Yep.
Bro, I tried it this way.
Yep.
Are you get what I'm saying?
Yes,
and don't get me wrong. You can still have that conversation, but you're having it at a different point. Go taking the trash out. But the same way, when we go to the grocery store, we don't go buy a cow. That thing is cut up. It's processed. We walk in the door with ox tails, not an ox.
Yeah.
So no, I know me.
Yeah.
And I know my issues. I'm growing. I need my brothers to process this stuff.
Yeah.
Because I get to throw away this, keep this, and you know what? Go home. Now, babe, taste this. Does this taste all right?
Yeah. And you're gonna go home with too much. That's so good, bro. You will end up going home with too much vibrato, too much something. You got to take some of the edge off of that before you present it to, because a lot of times it's riddled with hurt. It's riddled with accusations. Yeah. It's shame riddled with attacks, shame, and blame.
Yeah.
And so what is most important is that we feel heard and seen. But if you go into the situation with this, and her capacity is here, no disrespect.
Yeah.
This ain't good and this ain't bad.
Capacity could be here for different things. It could be because you don't have the energy. There's other circumstances that are going on. Same thing with you. There's capacity is not competence. And a lot of times we got to evaluate that the capacity is not an insult. It's just we're not in that spot right now.
Right.
And that's also why as brothers we need each other.
Yeah.
To admit, man, I'm not in this spot right now. I can't hear this right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I'm thankful for you being in my life and the other brothers, we've been able to say at times, you know what, you may not be able to hear this right now. But when you are, let's talk about it. I see something. When you're ready to have that conversation, let's go.
And you feel safe.
Yes.
You feel safe to have that conversation. When somebody handles you like that, hey man, we need to talk, but I know this ain't the time right now. Let's go do this. Let's go do this. Let's go handle this over here.
Right.
And then let's get this off. And before you know it, when we going out doing something, they end up talking anyway, spilling all their guts. Man, we was together Sunday.
Right.
Same situation, bro.
Likewise.
We sitting out in the tent.
Yes.
Doing what we do.
Yep.
Doing what you call it? Doing surgery.
and it's the bros.
Yeah.
And it allows us to have that moment that, you know what? And let me be honest with you. Sometimes you need the bros to pull out what you ain't gonna show nobody else to say, hey man, this is where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
And to have that group that's not gonna judge you, if you pull that thing out at home, man.
Yeah.
Now you done pulled it out.
Yeah.
You can't calibrate it. You can't take, man, I heard it so much. You can't take it back.
So I'm gonna tell you this, bro. I am one.
Home got a no return policy.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this, and it might be very controversial, but I am not of the mindset that when you do something, when a brother does something stupid, per se, that he goes and confesses right away to go home and dump that. I think you should have a conversation, but sometimes it may not necessarily need to be with, and I'm not talking about infidelity. Let's be clear on that. Yeah, because infidelity is something different.
Yeah.
And even with infidelity, though, I'm sure there's a process. You got to get back to her, but there's a process. What I'm saying is if you make a bonehead decision, some things you can talk to the brothers, you can talk to your therapist, and she's none the wiser because you learn from this opportunity, but now you don't have to take that home and then end up having to have her worried about, oh man, so you was at work and you punched a wall?
You do need to be honest what you need to say. You may need to have a conversation about that. What to? This is what we need to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
That needs to be there. But when we talk about it and how we talk about what we need to talk about
this is
matters.
very vital, bro.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because and that's where all of this comes into. Because I admit, I used to be the person, it's on my mind, here it is.
Yeah. No. And I'm gonna say from my lens, and this is not for everybody, from my lens, I don't want you to bring something to me that's maybe no longer a part of who you are. It was a lapse in judgment at the time.
Right.
If you, God forbid, I tell my wife this, well, not all the time, but I've said it, and I'll say it again. If you did something crazy in the past, stepped out, whatever you did, and you ain't doing it no more, it's under the blood, you better not tell me. Don't you tell me, because now
this better be in the scene.
It's a thing. Now it's something we got to deal with.
Right.
Because now I know.
Right.
I don't care if we've been married for 40 years. Well, in year 0.5, I did. Keep it to yourself and Jesus. Don't bring that to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's where I say. Now, my wife is different. My wife is like, I don't care if you thought it. You better tell me. But that's her structure. That's how she believes.
Yeah.
Now, I'm saying for me, know who you are with. Know who your person is.
Very much so.
Yeah. If you did it, you ain't doing it no more. You move past it. We good. Yeah, I don't need to. I don't need to hear about that. Take it to the Lord. And if the Lord reveals it to me somehow, then it was for me to know. But don't you looking at me like, yo, I ain't over there.
Hey,
talk to me.
Fruit got seeds in it.
Okay.
So I part of me agrees.
Okay.
Part of me, the verdict is out on that whole total situation. Just come into agreement. I don't know, man. I can say right now, I don't know.
So I'm saying my self-awareness say I know me, and I know don't bring up nothing. That's why I don't go through her phone.
Yeah.
That's why I don't do none of that, because I'm going to see something that wasn't for me. I'm going to see her talking to her friends, saying some real crazy stuff about how stupid I was today. And look at him sitting over there looking stupid now in the text message. I'm going to see that and I'm going to feel some type of way. When in fact, you would have never told me that to my face. You said that to your best friend who was a trusted source. So no. No.
I get that, but why are you talking about it, man? But we growing, stretching.
Wait a minute, Jason. You said what you saying it for? Then?
Exactly, you know. But I'm hearing that. That's the area.
But our construct may just be different.
But you know what? Even as we're having this conversation, I got to admit that's an area of growth to get into that point because you know men don't give grace like women do.
And you need to know the areas that you're broken.
Very much so.
Because if you don't know the areas that you're broken, then you won't know that you even need to be fixed.
Yeah.
And what happens is when you get into a room like what we have with the brothers, man, we could, listen, you could just talk for a few minutes. We already kind of see what's happening.
It's amazing.
We can tell from your bravado. We can tell from the things that you're not saying.
Yep.
Like all of that. Like that's the thing. So we know how to ask prodding questions to kind of get you to help you see you.
Man, I never forget one night we was at the phone booth and I'm going to call him D for the sake of the broadcast, looked at me and said one statement. You know, I was good and single, divorced, just living my life. And he said one statement. He asked me a question about why are you doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G? And the statement he says, why open a jar that you never intend to go in the contents and make it a part? And that one statement changed.
I remember.
Dude, you know.
So let's be clear.
Yeah.
You were living your life.
I was single, divorced, not in a relationship,
and fancy free.
And it was, it was a good 5 months, maybe 2.5, but 5. I mean, it was alive. And he said that one statement.
And you open their hearts. And
he's like, he said, why open a jar when you never intend to partake of the contents? And I'm cleaning it up for the sake of the brother. Yes. Why open this?
Yeah.
He said, you just going around opening stuff because you can.
Yeah, man.
And when he said that, man, it brought a level of conviction and mood because I meant, and it changed everything.
Demond, let's call his name. Demond.
Yeah, he was that dude. He's that dude.
We're gonna bring him back. We're gonna bring him on the show.
He was that dude, and it literally dried that sum up. It dried it up, and it was one of the most wisest things.
Well, it didn't dry it all together. You forgetting I know you. So
it dried it up, and I'm in the.
It got drier. We're not gonna do it.
No, it did because it landed. That happened in June and at the end of July.
We got to talk about dates. No dates. No,
I got you. Oh Jesus! Got me in my high pitched voice and everything. Lord, the pastor I hear, Pastor Liddy. Okay,
yeah, man. But you my dude, and the power of community is people like you, myself,
right.
Derwin, Roger. All of our folks, all our people.
Yeah.
We know how to say the tough things to each other.
Right.
I mean, I remember that meeting we had. And we had one of them, boy, he almost split this table in half. Hot. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Hot. But he was able to talk to him
and that's a good thing about
help
brothers.
him see himself.
We can handle that.
Oh, stay there. Please stay there.
We can handle that.
That's it.
I'm learning. Home can't handle that. Community can't handle that. You got to have a safe place that you could get that. Man, I never forget. I'm working on me, and I realized one day as I was driving in past the King and Queen building on 400, and I realized I have enough anger that could power those entire buildings as I'm working on myself and becoming self-aware.
Really, really.
And as I'm processing that ain't for home. That ain't for church.
Yeah.
That ain't for the community. I mean, I'm talking about it now because I'm disarming that joke. I understand where a lot of the anger was out of rejection. A lot of the anger was out of failure. A lot of the anger was out of not good enough. A lot of the anger was out of blaming other people. Mm-hmm. And when you blame other people, you hope they come and redeem you. So you end up being the savior for everybody else, hoping somebody gonna come and save you. So you put on that cape and you fly. You Captain Saver.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No. So, but in processing that, and in the demonstration of that, it's not there. Think about it, bro. And I'm gonna put this in a moment. There was a moment in my life where if you didn't show up and pull up in that city, I would be in a cell with at least 30 years more in a suit with numbers on my chest doing prison ministry from inside.
Yeah. It's a dark time, brother.
It was a very dark time.
Yeah.
And I can say that if it was having a brother, I made 2 phone calls that day. I made a phone call to a brother that I love. He's a leader in the school system. I made a phone call to him and I made a phone call to you. And that's all I can technically fully remember out of all of the ebbs and flows. That's what community does.
Yeah.
That's why I don't judge a brother who's behind bar. I don't judge a brother because I know that if it had not been for grace or moment or community or something stepping in, it'd have been done.
Yeah, man, we saw this video that talked about, authentic brotherhood. It's that person that you can call 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and they'll answer your phone. And in the background, you hear them, loading it up.
Where we going?
And grabbing the shovel.
It's a non-negotiable.
You're calling me at this time of the morning.
There's something going down.
Something going down. And I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to anything, but I'm here to support you however way you need me to support you.
And that's the power of it, man. When it comes to accepting responsibility, what I love about us dealing with other men, we've created a culture, and we're growing on it, of telling men, you know what, brother, this is what we see. You may not agree. And you're going to make your own decision. And whatever decision you make, whether we agree with it or not, we with you. Now, these are the concerns with the area you see.
Yeah.
Our relationship got stronger by that.
Yeah.
By you saying, hey, DZ, these are my concerns. My concern is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But you know what? I don't know why you're going this route, but I'm with you.
Yes.
But I love you enough to tell you these are my areas, and I'm still going to support you fully.
As I'm holding my shovel, helping you bury the bodies.
Right. Because we shouldn't be here.
Nope. But we here now. So,
and that level of accountability and that level of friendship
there you go.
Helps the brothers get there. Because the truth is you can't do that in other places.
Yeah.
You're going to pay that cost.
Yeah.
And either people trying to son you and trying to control you. If you don't do this way. And sometimes it's through those routes. Hey, man, it's times I've called you, bro. You told me. But I couldn't see it. I never forget. It was in that summer. You told me you don't see it now.
I did.
But you're going to get tired of it. I said, you said you don't see it now. You enjoy yourself. But
you're having too much fun right now.
You're going to get tired of it. If it wasn't 3 weeks later.
No, or less.
Yeah, I was so tired. I mean, that life, I thought it was just going to be, woo. And I was. Yeah. Because that's the power of being around other hearts, other eyes, other ears, other hands. Because sometimes you think you got it.
Yeah.
And that's responsibility. Responsibility is actually also knowing that you ain't got it all.
Yep.
And you need to be around folks that can help you because you're learning you.
Nor do you need to have it all.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah. Somebody else got your back. And somebody else is in your corner.
Right.
And accepting responsibility is also being able to accept help.
Yes.
And getting it from a safe place.
I can't tell you how many balls I have fumbled because I was so prideful thinking that I had to make the catch. There's some plays I need to block.
Yeah, bro.
There's some plays I need to be on the sideline on. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what happened. We want to go out and think we're going to throw our own ball. We think we're going to make our own catch and then be mad because we're the only one in the stadium while nobody cheers when we make the touchdown.
Wow.
We love team sports, but we end up doing life by ourselves. And I have learned, I got too much in me. I got too much that I got to do. I made some terrible mistakes.
Yes.
I've cost a lot, but there's so much greatness in spite of it that in this season, I got to do it as a team.
Ooh, brother, 2 things can be true. You can F up colossally in an area, but you could also be amazing and great in another.
Yes.
2 things can exist.
At the same time.
And what I believe being in community, especially this kind of community, helps you do, it helps you to bridge that gap.
Man, come on.
It helps you bridge that gap.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you for stopping by today, man. These conversations are incredible. And we have more conversations like this coming up. Do me a favor, make sure that you subscribe to this channel.
Yes.
Share this video with somebody that you know is gonna really appreciate having it.
Yeah.
And in conclusion, I just want to say, bro, I see you.
Yes.
It's one of the greatest things that a man can say to another man is that, bro, I see you.
Yes.
And I don't just see the good stuff.
I see the hurt. I see the stuff you're ashamed about.
Yeah.
I see the stuff that you can't even tell nobody about.
Yeah.
You trying to make it happen, and you got this weight on your shoulders.
Yeah.
That you moving. I see you.
I see you, and I am here, no judgments.
None.
To help you get to where you say you need to be.
Yes.
And that's my life's passion.
Yes.
To help men overcome those critical thinking, those limiting beliefs, and help them become the best version of themselves.
Yes.
And guess what? It's a journey that all of us
we own it. We own together.
We are around people who are going where we're growing where we're going.
Yes.
So we're building this plane many times as we're flying it.
We're working on becoming, not doing.
There you
because
go.
when we become it, then you get to have it, you get to reach it, you get to see it, you get to believe it.
Yeah.
And that's the journey. Just, hey man, we got our stuff.
Yeah.
But we have greatness in all of us, and we're greater together than we ever are by ourselves.
Yeah, bro. I love it. Until next time, y'all. Love you. Man up.